welcome to Buzz Speakers. I'm Kush,
And I'm Alex.
and today we're going to be reviewing Hot Thoughts by Spoon. Spoon are a indie rock, alternative rock band that has had some really fantastic albums in the past. Uh, I know I was introduced to them by Ga 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 Ga. It's five, right? Yeah. That was my
I
first.
don't know.
That was my first introduction to the band, and there were quite a few songs I used to listen to back in the day, and I really loved just the atmosphere and the songs and the style they were singing in. And they have fallen off a little bit since then, but I think this album picks up right where they left off with that album, because before then they were making just fantastic indie music, like new indie music people haven't heard, and I think this album does that well, because they did fall into a rut where they made music that was kind of generic and really poorly produced. But this album was the same old Spoon that I really enjoyed back in the day, and I was enjoying this album the entire time I was listening to it.
Yeah, I've never heard Spoon before this album, aside from one song on a compilation album in 2009 called Dark Was the Night. It sounded pretty good. They seem just like indie darlings to me, whose peak was around the mid 2000s. But I had no idea what they would generally sound like before this. But yeah, this is a pretty good indie rock album, I'd say. I mean, you probably have more to say than me, but I really, really enjoyed this. This was a really good introduction to Spoon, and
Definitely.
it was just so fresh, catchy, and bright. Enjoyable music, and made me want to try Spoon out just a lot.
I would say this is probably their most accessible album they've made, something that anyone can listen to and get into. Some of the other albums are a little bit more hard to get into if you haven't been listening to Spoon or if you're not like super familiar with the genre. But this was a really
Right.
great introduction album, and then you can always like go in a deep dive for their other music. So for this album, there were quite a few songs that I really liked. I want to say "Pink Up" was probably my favorite song on there.
Yeah,
Uh,
same. Yeah, that was a really good one. That was like 6 minutes long, and
yeah,
it did not feel like it.
it was like a 6 minute just jam session of just instruments going back and forth and just people just playing music, and then they throw in the vocals, but like the vocals aren't overpowering the instrumentation, which is the key in this song especially, because there's so many layers, like they have drums, tambourines, guitars, and synths all playing together, which normally would end up sounding cluttered, but I think it sounded really well in the song.
Yeah, it almost had some tropical Caribbean vibes to me on some of these instruments.
I think my second favorite song on this album was a closer, Us.
Really,
Yeah,
the instrumental one.
yeah, because like so, from having listened to Spoon previously, they've never done something like this. This was just like I want to say it's a trumpet that was just this haunting, eerie, creepy trumpet playing over this ambient electronic sort of sound. Not It didn't have any really real context, but it was just a fantastic closer. I just thought it was like something jaw dropping and super creative for a closer.
Yeah, this is reminded me vibe wise because it had some like weird jazz playing on it a little bit of "Life in a Glass House" by Radiohead, and they're both like album closers that are nothing like the whole album. Although this obviously has no vocals, and this is definitely a band performance through and through. I did really like it. It had some cool, weird drumming, but it was not one of my favorites, I'd have to say. Shotgun, that was probably my favorite track song before.
Really, I thought that was probably their most lackluster, alongside First Caress on this album.
It's like, this is amazing. Maybe it's because I'm more of a rock guy. I know you're obviously a rock guy as well,
Oh
but
yeah,
man, just yeah, rock crunch like this has, and this is like the only time they really rock out, and there's a real swagger and sounds raw and dirty. Maybe that's not what people obviously listen to Spoon for, because there's obviously a lot of nice indie pop, lovely melodies on here, but and this actually reminded me of a Depeche Mode for some reason, like whenever they rocked out with a Personal Jesus and I Feel You. Uh, of course, it has a strong aspect of just being indie pop, but having them rock out like this is a nice change of pace, and I just found it quite cool to listen to.
yeah. So when I say lackluster, I'm talking about in terms of the album. I think the song itself is really
Right.
good, but I think it was probably one of the weaker songs compared to the other ones, because I think my favorites. Well, obviously my favorite's "Pink Up," but one of the other songs that I really enjoyed was uh Do I Have to Talk You Into It, and its partner song, Can I Sit Next to You. Uh,
Yeah,
I don't know if they're meant to be like songs that went together, but they sounded like they fit perfectly together. Um, like the first song, do I have to talk you into it, sounded like he was trying to like get this girl like into him, and like he's trying to like he's asking her, do I have to talk you into it? Do I have to like convince you to go out with me and whatnot? But it was just so bubbly and airy and just so fun that it didn't seem like that kind of song. It seemed like more of an upbeat, more danceable song. And I think that was that alongside Can I Sit Next to You, which sounded like a Red Hot Chili Pepper song, like straight out of
a
Red Hot
little
Chili
bit.
Pepper,
Yeah.
straight out of their album. But it was still another really good love song that was more emotional and less like physically loving than the first one. Uh, I think that
Mhm.
I think the best part about that song is that it had this spiraling synth that just kind of like that's just going kind of crazy at points in the song, and it really just brings the whole song together. Yeah, but that was probably my two favorite things on this. I say favorite. Everybody's saying favorite a lot, but those are some of my favorite songs in the album.
Well, it's easy to say favorite for a lot of these because there are so many good songs on here,
Oh yeah,
and they're all quite similar, obviously, in their quality level. I mean, I personally see us as being, I don't know, a little step down just because it's so different. Maybe that's why, obviously, you like it because it's so different. They've never done it before. But for me, it just feels like a weird part added to the end. And I do like it, it's just not as good as the other songs. The song Whisper, I'll Listen to Hear It, which is all stylized into one word, even. That's a really good song. That's a song that really got me into Spoon. Like the first song, the title track is good, but kind of had a more. It was too weird for me in a way. Just the way the vocals are done. Do you know what I mean?
yeah. He has a lot of filters on his vocals. So it's almost like echoing, but not really.
Yeah, but this is definitely the song that made me get into them. It starts off all soft and light. I don't know if they have actually electronic elements, but it definitely sounds like it. They definitely use a keyboard at least.
Yeah, they have a keyboard,
But
and
you
I'm
know
pretty
what?
sure they have electric guitars as well.
Yeah. But around 2 minutes into this, it rocks out big time. I have a feeling this song is probably more of a not generic, but more of a general Spoon track. Do you see it as that?
Yeah, this is one of their more like style songs. Like the song "Pink Up" and "Us" were my favorites because they were unique and they were different. This was still a good song. I just think that this is something that they've made on almost every album so far. Like this in this style.
Yeah, and I got that feeling despite never hearing Spoon before in an album
Well,
context before this
they're
album.
so comfortable with the sound. Like they know what the sound is and they're so good at it and they're comfortable with it. So you can tell like even like on their experimental songs, you can tell like there was some portions when they were kind of off or whatnot. But this song, like you can tell they were comfortable and they were in their A game with it.
The part I like most about the production is there's a really shredded and great guitar on this track, but it's not loud or heavy. It's like very contained by the production. But that's good because I don't want a really loud guitar solo on a Spoon song, really. So the production really works in this band's favor here, I'd say.
Yeah, for sure. I want my least favorite song was probably First Caress. Um,
Yeah, maybe.
it was kind of short. Firstly, 2.5 minutes, whatever. Um, it was very it was very like 80s influence, at least from what I heard. A lot of this album had a lot of 80s influence. That's how I felt. Um, but I thought like the piano sections were really well performed. This it had a lot of great aspects to it. It just when it came together, it did not flow as well as I wanted it to. But I can like the individual portions, like the
Right.
piano and the guitars and whatnot, individually sounded really great. It just didn't mix together as well.
This song was not like exciting to me either. I was kind of passively listening to it the first time just because it didn't have anything for me to latch on for some reason. I don't know. It's not a highlight, but I still thought it was quite good, I guess.
Yeah, I still thought it was good. It's just the one song that was kind of like missing something for me on this album. The rest of the songs were pretty complete and coherent songs, and I love this record all the way through. I was kind
Yeah.
of dancing to it, grooving to it. So
That's good to hear.
Well, what would you rate it, Alex?
Yeah, this is a really good introduction to Spoon. I'm gonna have to hear the rest of their discography now because, man, this is their ninth album, I believe, and it's just they still sound so good to me. Uh, but they clearly are a band who are very sure of themselves, and they only occasionally widen their scope. But this is really good. I'm gonna give it 7.5 out of 10.
Yeah, I love Spoon. I love most of the records they've made. There have been a couple ones that have been lackluster, and I'm glad I'm hearing them back to their A game, back to what they do best. These these weird, quirky rock songs that don't really feel like rock songs, and but they also have some experimental. They change it up at some points, and I feel like it keeps it fresh. It keeps it interesting, even though they have maintained their older sound. So I think that this is a great album. I would recommend it to anyone who likes Spoon. I think this is, especially even if you like lost faith after like the last couple albums, but this is something that they're back to what they're doing best, and I'm gonna give it 8 out of 10. Well, if that, well, if that's it, then thanks for tuning in, Bus Speakers. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you like and subscribe. Check out some more other videos and other reviews, and check us out on social media.